All right. Hello, Howler.
Hi, Jonch,
Hi, it's me again. How you been?
the sea boy.
How you doing?
I've been alright.
What you do?
I have a. You know what floaters are in your eyes?
Yes.
Do you have them?
Yes. I'm pretty sure most people have them, but depending if you have way too many floaters in your eyes, that means that you probably have something.
Yes.
You got the diabetes?
Oh man, don't say that. I really. Because they asked me that when I called on the phone, because I had to call a doctor. I have one that won't go away in my left eye, but it's very small.
Mm.
Um, it's like a pin dot, and anytime I look, I'm doing it right now. I follow this thing, and it follows, then drifts down, and then stays directly where it drifted down to.
So
So,
what I've heard is that most of those floaters are, if you have a lot, that usually is a connection to diabetes.
hmm. Well, it's
S-
not a lot. So,
I don't got it.
well, no, it's just one, and like I do have like a good amount in my eyes, but they
uh,
like come and go type of thing.
yeah.
Which like I looked it up and like it it is like it's one of those things that says if they come and go, don't worry about it. But if it's persistent and stays, which this one's been here like
For like a
almost a
couple
week.
days. Hmm.
So
You're gonna go to.
they were like, you should probably go see an eye doctor, and I finally made the appointment, so I'm going.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then maybe they'll be like, you should get checked for the diabetes, and then I'll figure it out. But
Yeah,
that's part of my week.
fair enough. Yeah, because I
um,
went to the eye doctor and they're like, "Oh, you have some floaters." And I was like, "Yeah, I've had them for a while."
oh, they can see them.
Yeah,
Wow. I
yeah.
thought only like you could see your own float. That's crazy.
No, yeah. That's why eye doctors kind of mentioned that because like when I got my, because I had to see whether or not I had to update my prescription. Luckily, I don't because she was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you're fine, prescription wise." And she's like, "Yeah, you just have some floaters," and but she's like, "It's not a lot, but it's like there are there." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I see them sometimes, but not anything like that bad where like I'm constantly on one."
Yeah. It's pissing me off while I'm driving, so it's like the biggest thing is like I'm just like I don't want to have problems driving.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I get you. I get you.
so that'd be cool.
Hmm.
And then the like fun things I did this week where I watched Barbarian. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, Justin Long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I think I kind of spoiled myself on the ending or like the twist that happens in it.
Mhm.
It seems okay. I haven't
Did you
watched
watch
it.
it?
No, I haven't watched
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I just know how it like what the twist is.
Oh, say it.
There's a woman that lives in like a basement, like in the house.
How'd you spoil yourself on that?
I don't remember. Oh, I was watching a review from this from Red Letter Media. There's
Mhm.
this it's this YouTube channel that checks out movies, but they did like a whole barbarian review, and I really liked their stuff, so I just watched it, and they talked about the twist. And I was like,
Well, if
yeah,
you watch it, we'll talk more about it then, because I don't want to ruin anything else.
okay, that's fine.
I watched Smile.
Oh, how was the number one horror movie in America?
I thought I was gonna hate it. It's so good.
Really? Okay.
I thought I was gonna hate it, bro.
Uh, okay, I'll probably watch that.
So you know how the whole thing is like people are smiling, right?
She's smiling at me. Yeah, I
Right.
know.
So like that reminded me of the movie like 4 years ago, maybe less, maybe it was 2 years ago.
Tr-
Whatever the one that where like people were on the internet and they were like, "Oh no, this guy's killing everyone on
Oh,
a webcam call."
unfriended, but you know what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
smiling shit reminded me of that other Blumhouse movie called Truth or Dare. Do you remember that?
Is what? No.
Truth or Dare had this dumb thing where like the whole premise was this demon was possessing people, and basically the demon would be like truth or dare, and like you gotta tell like, and like the truth or dare shit would be like, I guess, somewhat life threatening, quote unquote. Because I think I remember this is that like one of the guys like truth things was to tell their parents that they were gay, and it was very weird. Um, but the demon would be possessing people, and it would smile, and it did like this whole CGI smile thing. It was really
Oh.
dumb. Yeah.
Huh. Okay, sounds very similar then.
I was gonna say
actually.
you could look it up right now. Truth or Dare,
That's interesting.
smile.
I don't know. Well, now you said that, maybe I definitely like this one isn't as stupid as I thought it was gonna be. Uh, I don't know. Like if I had to give it a 10, like I got like 7.5. I thought it was
Wow. So you
pretty
hated
good.
it. Okay. I
I
hit
thought it was pretty good. I watched a few episodes of Cabinet of Curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Eh, like
Wow.
I think episode 1 was okay. Have you
Yeah.
watched all of them?
Yeah, I saw all of it.
The rat one was like,
The right
and
one
then like
wasn't my favorite. There, like I said, there is a lot of hits and misses, mostly misses.
okay,
Because I forget there was like one with
no, don't.
Okay, yeah, I would just say keep going, but go at your own pace because like I was kind of stupid and kind of like ran through it, but
Yeah, yeah.
I mean I still enjoyed it because like each episode was like different directors and their like little horror story. The one a lot of people kept talking about was The Viewing.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like episode 7, but like a lot of
Okay.
people were talked about that one that they were like, "Oh my god, it's crazy because it's by the director that did Mandy, which is that Nick Cage movie."
All right.
But I enjoyed it. It was very stylish. I have to give it that credit. But the one I enjoyed was I think it's called The Morgue or The Autopsy. One of that, but that was the one I enjoyed the most. If you keep watching,
The
you'll
rat one?
no. It's a different one.
You love rats, I know you do.
Yeah, Rat Game. 10 out of 10.
Fucking rat game, bro. All right.
Yeah, you'll see it. It's basically an autopsy episode. So, it's pretty good. I enjoyed that one. But yeah, the Cabinet of Curiosities. Anything else you watched?
I'll check the rest of them out, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Game of Thrones, I started.
Why?
Because I keep getting told how good it is. So this is what I did. I started it, watched like 2 episodes, fell asleep. Watched 2 episodes, fell asleep. I can't. I was talking to my friend and like he was like, "Yeah, it's like a bunch of like diplomatic ways of talking to people or diplomacy or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like whatever, like just like being like, I think we should make peace with Fran, whatever the fuck,
Okay,
fuck.
let me ask you this. Did you enjoy the Lord of the Rings movies?
No.
So you're probably going to hate this.
Yeah, no shit. I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I hate Lord of the like super like
Cuz this is dark fantasy. That's what this is.
yeah. Other people hate that I don't like Lord of the Rings, and like I liked it when I was younger because I was dumb, and now
Now that
I'm
you're a
older and
man.
smarter.
now
Well,
I'm a
now that like I have like a
man.
thinking head, my brain work.
I love Lord of the Rings. Well, the movies I love.
They're just slow. Like it's not like so I don't not like them for the fantasy part. I don't like them for the fucking pace. It's very dull having someone go like like I don't care. Like
I didn't hear
stop
what you
whispering.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said cuz when you whispered it just muddled.
Oh, I'm sorry. And they whisper like super loud into a mic. So
Uh-huh.
it's like so I get really fucking pissed off because I'm like, why are you whispering so loud? Like
Yeah.
the guy in the next room can hear you, asshole. Anyways,
It's okay. Good movies though. Continue.
so fuck you. And then fight sequences happen, and I'm like, this is cool. I love this part.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones was cool. I got so like the coolest thing I saw in Game of Thrones so far was, and I don't know, do you care if I say or no?
I mean, I've seen most of Game of Thrones, so
Okay, so you remember the part where the heathen guy dumped gold on top of the dragon guy's head?
yes.
Yeah, I don't know their names, man.
Yeah. Fuck. I remembered this guy's name, but like, no, the actor's Jason Momoa. Yeah, when Jason Momoa took the gold and put it on the creepy brother.
Yeah, he's like
Daenerys' brother.
You'll have a crown that everyone will envy or whatever. And then he
Yeah, a
like
crown of
takes the
gold.
gold and he's like, don't do this. And he's like, sister, please, I'm your brother. And she's like, I don't really give a fuck. And I was
Yeah,
like, yo,
because
this is
fuck
fucking
you.
wild. And
Yeah.
they dump that shit on his head. And then you hear like his like head smacking the floor. And I was like, oh shit, this is one of the coolest fucking scenes. And then I woke up and I went back to sleep because I don't care anymore after that part. Because they went back to two dudes in a tower talking next to a field of grass, and they were like, my horse is dead. And I was like, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, you're if you don't like any like high fantasy stuff, you're gonna dislike
So you're saying I should get high and then watch fantasy. Got it.
I guess if you want, maybe that might ease it, but probably I don't know if you get sleepy when you get high.
I get so tired watching. It's like the two things that fucking get me tired easily is like horrible fucking shitty TV shows and Heat.
Oh, for a second I thought you were talking about the movie Heat.
No,
With Al
the fuck is that
Pacino,
movie?
Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Fuck, I think I do know that movie too. Okay, anyways,
Okay.
um, so Game of Thrones, I'll finish it because I just will. I know I will. And I watched the Friends reunion.
How's that?
Um, uh, everyone looks old, like skin sagging and shit.
Yeah, wasn't Friends from the 90s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
They
like,
were like
so
in their like mid to late 20s.
so fuck. What is her name? Oh my god,
Jennifer
I just
Aniston?
thank you. Jennifer Aniston is still a fox, dude. And
Mm.
then Courtney Cox looks like she got so much fucking like injections, whatever they're called, the ones that like
Botox?
keep your skin tight.
Botox.
Yeah, oh my god, so much. Lisa Kudrow is still very cute and pretty.
Mm.
Um,
What about David Schwimmer?
David Schwimmer looks so good, except for like if you look at the side of his like jaw, so like his face like structure, he has skin sagging on the left and right, and it's like this is. I told my brother this. I said if you took some of the fucking injections that Courtney Cox got and put it into Schwimmer's fucking face, just a little bit, it would be perfect, and his skin would be like flawless, dude.
Take like use the needle. Oh, excuse me, I hit my microphone. You take the needle and suck out the
Yeah,
Botox.
yeah.
Jesus.
Dude, man, you know, it's like snake venom.
Yeah.
So what's his name? Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Sounded like he was drunk the entire fucking thing. He had like unless maybe he has like some type of medical condition or something, but I think recently he came out that he's like been an alcoholic again. Because he had alcohol
Yeah,
problems before.
Matthew Perry, from what I've heard, had kind of a weird decline in his career.
Yeah.
So I guess in some sense he's kind of washed up, which is kind of sad to say, but it is kind of true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, no idea.
So Perry, like, it felt bad because like I was actually really looking forward to hearing from him about like stuff, and like every time he talked, it just made me sad. I was like, all right.
But I say Matt LeBlanc doesn't look that bad. He only has
So
like gray hair.
he looks great, but he has such a big fucking beer belly.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
He's like the one that got like fat, and I was
Okay.
like, oh man, no way. Matthew Perry got a little fat too, but
Yeah.
they both. It's one of those things like you see them and you're like,
but this
it's like they lived like so much and did so much, like it's who cares if they got a little fat.
LeBlanc looks happier, I think we could say.
Yeah, LeBlanc could also like, you know, he could work it off if he just did it.
Yeah, but
it's also not a lot of weight. It's just like a beer gut. So
yeah.
Overall, regardless of how they look, that was just something I noticed like on each of them. I was like, oh, this is how they all look. Like they went over some of the scenes and talked about like how they felt and like how the show like catapulted them to like their stardom. And just in general, like how they felt in the beginning and how everyone got their roles and everything. It was honestly just like a really nice insight into the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I came out with like a positive feel. Like I liked it. It was very enjoyable.
Okay. Unlike the Harry Potter reunion,
Justin Bieber shows up, by the way, too, in there.
Oh, really?
Yes, they have him do a walkway thing.
Why?
Because they can.
What?
Yep. Listen, bro. I don't have an answer for you.
What? Is Justin Bieber a huge fan of Friends?
The Harry Potter one made me feel good too, though. By the way, I just don't
Okay.
really give a fuck about Rowling, really.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, nobody during that reunion ever talked about her. So
You watched it, didn't you?
I did not watch it. I've only heard about it, and I was like,
I told you when they did that reunion, all of her footage inside the reunion is anything they recorded with her, like back in 2007.
Oh yeah, before the incident.
Yep.
I keep hitting my microphone.
They did not
Before the
use any
incident.
footage of recent stuff with her.
Yeah, and there is recent stuff too, like which is the insane part. Yeah.
I mean, it might have been like 2009 or 2012, but like whatever, right? It was nothing that was like 2020.
BI before the incident. Okay.
And then the last thing I did this week was I beat Death's Door finally.
Oh fuck! I knew there was a game I wanted to play.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna ruin anything for you because I think you should play through it.
Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking about like what to stream next, because obviously that's part of my week is that I beat God of War.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, God of War.
Yeah, God of War is really good. But yeah, I really got to check that game out. I know you mentioned
Real
that.
quick,
Like,
don't say anything about the ending of God of War because I don't know shit about it really.
wow, so much hate for God of War.
But if you want to say something, let me know and I'll like pop off the headphones real quick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna have a spoiler talk about it. Like,
Okay,
obviously,
cool.
I'm just gonna say that like it was a game that I enjoyed. So before I start, did you finish your week or like you got anything else?
That was it.
Okay, so on to me then.
The Chonch Man.
It's my time to shine, baby. So
You
yeah,
sound like you're about to run onto the field. It's my time to shine. Let's go.
No, so yeah, so for stream, okay. So for stream, I did beat God of War Ragnarok. I think it is another GOTY contender for me, personally. It was wild to see that online it was getting criticized for being too boring and long, which I'm like, what? I was like, what? Like, it was weird to see that online, and I'm like, it just feels like 2018 again. Yeah. Like, they just doubled down on 2018 again, which is like, yes, it's a valid criticism, but like, it is still a really, really good character story. I really liked all the characters. The main plot itself was a little like unbalanced because of like characters' motivations and things like that. But overall, you like I think in my personal mindset as well is that like I had to expect that them coming to some kind of resolution with a couple character arcs because this is the final game in the Norse saga. So it's like, yes, they have to finish a lot of character arcs in order for it to work. It was weird. Like I said, it was just weird seeing Twitter with people being like, this game was boring. I was really anticipating this game, and it's just boring. All they do is just keep talking. I'm like, that was 2018! 2018 was exactly like that! It was fucking wild. But yeah.
No. It's like they should go play the God of War 1, 2, and 3s.
So this is the funny thing, is that like I had people on the Discord ask like, oh, should I play 2018 and play Ragnarok right afterwards? Shout out to Dino Bear. He's like, oh, I'm in the middle of playing 2018. Like, when I finish this, is it a good idea for me to start Ragnarok? And I don't think that's a good idea, to be honest. I say wait for it a little bit because of the combat feeling so similar to 2018 that it's just like, it feels like you're playing an extended cut of God of War in the Norse realm. So it's...
I don't know.
I mean, it really depends with you. It like really depends with you. But like 28,
it probably is a person to person. You're right.
Yeah, like if you're focusing on the story specifically, then yeah, I guess that does work. You know, you're gonna get your money's worth, obviously, story wise and character wise. But if you're like going for like 100% completion and all this stuff, getting all the trophies, don't do that. It's a really bad idea because like one of the collectibles again is the ravens, Odin's ravens. So it's like you're doing that shit again. But what I found out is that apparently Ragnarok has less ravens than 2018. 2018 had like a total of like 52 or 54. Ragnarok has like 48. So it's like Yeah,
Oh, it's not that big of a difference.
it's yeah, it's like it's still
But
there.
it's still different. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's better about Ragnarok is that like you're going to different realms. You're seeing you know different parts of Svartalfheim. You're seeing Vanaheim for the first time. And then how the cool thing about Ragnarok itself is that because of how 2018 ended and how the prophecy of Fimbulwinter is happening, you're seeing how Fimbulwinter has affected the other realms. So in Midgard, Fimbulwinter is like endless snow, so it just keeps snowing and snowing and snowing. But in places like Alfheim, where in 2016 it was all water with like all the elves and shit, it was just like water that you're traversing through. And then you get into Alfheim again in Ragnarok, and it's like, oh, it became a desert wasteland because this is how Fimbulwinter is affecting this
I've been
realm.
spoiled. I can't believe this.
Yeah, now you can't play the game anymore.
Yeah, now I know about the water pathways and in snow.
So like I said, this game Ragnarok does a lot of really good character moments. Like a lot of the characters have just really great moments of performances. Like everyone gets a moment to shine, which is I think awesome. Because I'm a little bitch when it comes to like really good character moments. Because I enjoy those, but I'm a little bitch for it. But yeah, man, it was such a good time. The side quests I loved doing because they added more lore about the realms and shit. Because there was like in Svartalfheim, when you go to the land of the dwarves, there's this whole little side quest where Mimir, you remember Mimir the head?
Yeah.
He asks you, oh, you see those like smokestacks? Those are like mining facilities that I set up like years back when I was with Odin. And basically he talks about like him and Odin exploiting the realm for their own benefit, and he's like, yeah, I regret doing this shit. Like, and they just like the side quest just keeps going on about like Mimir talking about his regrets and shit, and it's just so interesting. Like the side quests feel good to do, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very, very good acting moments, and then just going back to the game. And when I did a cleanup stream, it was just great to go back into the world and like see how like little different changes happened after beating the game. Yeah, it's overall I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's competing for GOTY in my heart, but really I haven't played that many 2022 games, so Elden Ring, because I even last year, or I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I had like 3 GOTYs. Because it was Resident Evil
I'm so
8.
sorry. I had my mic.
Oh, it's okay. I had Resident Evil 8 Village, Psychonauts 2, and Neo The World Ends With You as like my top 3 GOTYs.
Yo, Neo ends with that shit was so fucking good.
Oh my god, it was so anime, but that soundtrack's so good, and the other shit was so good. Yeah,
the music was really good.
Yeah,
I honestly, hold on, that was, you said the Neo and what else were the GOTYs?
Psychonauts 2 and Resident Evil 8 Village.
Honestly, I'd probably go Neo on all that. Like Psychonauts, I know you have like a thing for that, but personally,
and it's weird.
It's as good.
It's weird because like I got into Psychonauts like recently.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow, Psychonauts 2 was fucking great. It's so
Psychonauts
good.
1 was really well received though from people that played it. Obviously.
And Psychonauts 2, I felt like was such it was such a fun time, and I'm thinking, I'm like, this is a game that feels like it's for the fans that waited for so long for a sequel, and that's why I really loved about Psychonauts 2. My voice is like breaking, but yeah, Psychonauts 2 is just a fantastic platformer, and just like had some really nice moments. I really, really enjoyed those 3 games. But yeah, for this year, like I said, I didn't really play that many 2022 games. I probably have to look back at like my listing of like 2022 releases. But but one of the things I was surprised. Oh, A Plague Tale. There we go. That's another one.
Garbage.
I really liked how the
rats are bad.
Rat game good. And then I completely forgot that Sifu is a 2022 game.
No.
I thought that came out last year.
Dude, that feels like a 2020 game.
It came out this year.
To be fair, that's actually a really good game.
Sifu was fun.
I would actually enjoy playing it, I think, but I'd had a really good time watching you play it.
Sifu was fun. I'm surprised I fucking beat it.
Yeah,
I'm usually
I think I
terrible at
watched
those games.
50% of it. I watched until you hit like age 50 or something like that, and then I think I went to sleep or whatever. But like
That's fair.
the gameplay itself was really good, and like
That final boss.
I thought the idea of like how you aged was a cool different idea of like how you uh progress through the game.
Yeah, it is a roguelike. And what's really cool is that like the more you age, the more stuff gets unlocked. So you have like
Yeah.
more moves unlocked, but in order to fully have them, you have to fully unlock it. And it's like, yeah, there's like really neat mechanics as like a roguelike. Its story is not really the strongest part of it, but the boss fights are really good and really challenging.
Yeah.
And yeah, that final boss is like one of the most challenging fights you can do because one of the mechanics in the game is that you have like a focus thing that you can do. And the boss at the end of the game, like when you try to do the focus thing, the boss is like, nope, you can't do that shit, bro. Like, nice try, but you can't do that. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, shit. He's that strong. But yeah, Sifu came out this fucking year. And yeah, Plague Tale, so far for top 3 GOTYs, A Plague Tale, God of War Ragnarok, and Elden Ring. So
To be fair, A Plague Tale also surprised me how much I liked it.
it was good. It's a very good sequel. It's a very,
Yeah.
very good sequel.
I really didn't think I was gonna like that game, and again, like watching you play through it, I was like, wow, this is actually not bad.
Yeah, because like I do like the fact that like it just goes into it really dives into its absurdity with the rat shit. Because like there's a moment where it's like, where are these rats coming from? They're coming from weird egg sacs? Okay. It's so goofy, but I really enjoyed it.
Weird fucking.
It's yeah,
It's definitely still like you said, goofy's probably a good word, but
yeah,
it was such a weird like way for things like that shit.
to play out, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then like the ending was like very, very strong. That for that game. It was very strong. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we still got one more month left. We got Callisto Protocol and I forget what else in December.
You know, I can't believe like I'm finding myself thinking about buying Callisto Protocol,
I'm
and
probably
I
gonna
really
buy it.
actually think I want to buy Dead Space instead. But like, I'm gonna, I think I'm just gonna wait on both of them and see what Callisto's like first.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a review for like whatever site that I trust. But I mean, I've played Dead Space. Like I still love Dead Space, but it's just like I kind of want something new. Obviously, even though Callisto Protocol has like Dead Space shit in it,
Yeah, that's exactly kind of like what's going through my head is like,
yeah,
I really want to play Dead Space again because I know it's gonna look good and I know what I'm getting from it, but I also want something new to play, just
yeah,
like a new story to like
uh,
feed on. You know?
yeah. Basically, the spiritual successor to Dead Space.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the guy that worked on it, right? That
Yes,
basically the creator, essentially.
yeah. It's most of the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what I played. I've been playing more Diablo 2. I finally got to the Diablo boss, but I forgot that there's an Act 5. So,
You're playing which one?
Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Wow, didn't get an invite.
No. Cuz I was playing it really late at night.
I'm just
But
fucking
that Diablo boss is pretty tough. I'm stuck on it. Like
which boss?
the 4th act. I'm at the end of the 4th act.
Diablo.
Diablo, yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that
Okay.
that Diablo fight is like I'm getting my shit kicked in, so I'm probably gonna have to grind a little bit more.
What level are you? Just wondering.
26?
Yeah.
Yeah. So gonna have to do
I
that.
think like 32 is like the rough number we usually are. Actually. Maybe like 32, I think.
Yeah.
I usually like play with my brother, so like we tend to like just farm anyways.
Gotcha.
But I actually picked it up recently too. I re-downloaded it because the ladder it got reset, so new ladder characters online. You know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ladder shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Diablo 2, still going at that. Oh, I played a little bit of Guilty Gear Strive. New character came out, Sin Kisk. or
Nice.
Kisuke. Um,
Any new music that came with it, or
yes, he got his own character theme. I enjoy it because it's like very energetic.
yeah.
Because that really fits with Sin's character. But I when I got Guilty Gear Xrd, I played Sin and I really, really enjoyed that character. So with Strive, they really simplified him because that's obviously Strive's whole thing is that simplification of a lot of characters. Because Xrd is one of those crazy, wacky ass anime games. Still fun though. It just got rollback, but that's besides that's besides the point. But Sin is really fun. I went online for a little bit, and then I was watching some combo videos, and I was just fucking getting my mind blown with a lot of shit you can do with Sin. So I'm gonna be playing a little bit more Guilty Gear Strive, obviously, because I love Sin. And movies. I watched some movies. Well, I think what I'm still watching currently is I'm still watching that Belgian French show called Black Spot. It's okay. It's still going pretty okay. It's on Netflix.
What?
It's a show called Black Spot. Basically, it's a detective series that's in like this small little rural town in Belgium, in the French speaking part of Belgium. And like there's this weird cases happen like every episode, but there's like an overarching weird shit that's going on. So that show is pretty okay. As far as because the first episode and the second episode are really slow, so that's kind of the little disclaimer I have to give about it. But overall, I'm still kind of enjoying it. And then I completed some movies and shit. The shit that I watched. I think I mentioned this before, last episode of the podcast, but I talked about the Infernal Affairs trilogy. How The Departed is the American adaptation of Infernal Affairs.
Yeah.
So basically, the first Infernal Affairs is kind of almost somewhat beat for beat. Well, The Departed kind of takes it beat for beat, so you can kind of have a big understanding of like, of Infernal Affairs, the first movie. I really liked the first movie. I really, really enjoyed it because there are some differences. And the two main actors in the movie, Andy Lau and Tony Leung, they're very good. They're very good in that movie, especially Tony Leung. And yeah, it just works out the same way. If you've seen The Departed, you know how Infernal Affairs is. The only difference is there is no Mark Wahlberg character to kind of go after the bad guy. So you know how I use it in. Yes, do you remember The Departed?
Wahlberg was in The Departed?
Yes.
Was he the captain?
He was like the sergeant.
Yeah, but he wasn't really in the movie. He was like
but do you remember
guy that would show up when they would be like.
But do you remember the end of The Departed?
Wahlberg was not a bad guy, was he?
He wasn't the bad guy, but do you remember what happens at the end?
No, does Wahlberg die?
No. So it's basically okay. So
they have a rat in the unit.
The rat was Matt Damon. Leonardo DiCaprio was the undercover cop.
DiCaprio was a rat.
DiCaprio was the undercover cop.
Right, but isn't that also a rat?
Kind of, in a way, but like he was the good guy essentially.
Wait, Damon was a rat?
Damon was the rat, yes. He was a cop.
No, Damon was
a cop, but he actually worked for Jack Nicholson.
Right. So he wasn't a rat. He was just working.
He was technically a rat. Because he was leaking all the police information and shit.
Right. But he wasn't he was. So a rat would be like the person that they don't like. The mafioso guy that they don't like the guy.
I feel like rat can work both way.
I know what you're saying.
No, hold on. He was the mole.
There you go.
He was the mole. Yeah, there you go. The rat and the mole. There you go.
Like, very specifically, like those guys called him a rat. So like that's why.
So basically, So do you remember the end of The Departed? Yes or no? Now do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Infernal Affairs, there is no Mark Wahlberg character. to actually like have that Departed ending, because this series solely relies on Buddhism, on the idea of certain Buddhism what's it called, like specific quotes of Buddha, of like talking about the eternal hell, that like the real hell is the one that
Where'd
that
you
you
watch this at?
I have the DVD. Well, I have the Blu-rays.
Oh,
I bought the Blu-rays.
okay.
Which by the way, crisp.
Crisp. How old are these movies? It's got to be like what, 85?
2000. No, 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're like digital 2000 movies. But I realized there's a very specific way that this director Andrew Lau directs, that he really uses a lot of the music to make a lot of scenes like hit harder. So the movie really relies on its soundtrack, and it does it well for its most part. But like I said, Infernal Affairs really relies on the quotes of Buddha, where the eternal hell is basically the endless suffering of a person. That is the eternal hell, that you can never escape from it. So the ending of the movie is basically, in Departed terms, if Matt Damon got away with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
That the Departed would have been a very different movie, right?
yeah, especially if they still killed people at the end.
Exactly. Because like so Andy Lau, the actor, is the Matt Damon of the of Infernal Affairs. And
really quick, Damon dies at the end, right?
Yes. Mark Wahlberg DiCaprio dies as well.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You said DiCaprio does die?
DiCaprio dies, and so does Damon. So DiCaprio found out that Damon was the rat, or was the mole, and then as he's taking him out in the building to arrest him, DiCaprio gets shot in the head by another mole, and then Damon shoots that mole and makes it seem as if, like, you know, that actual mole was the real mole that was affecting their police department. And then the end of The Departed is when Mark Wahlberg shows up in Matt Damon's apartment and basically figured all this out, and was like, "You were the." He doesn't say a single word to him, but he shoots him in the head because he found out that Matt Damon was the mole.
I think I need to rewatch this, man.
The Departed is good in its own right, because it's
I love that movie, dude.
But yeah, the Infernal Affairs is basically like The Departed took the movie Infernal Affairs somewhat beat for beat. You know, obviously there is some differences because it's Marty Scorsese.
Oh god, Scorsese, chase my killer, man.
Scores. So yeah, basically Infernal Affairs, Andy Lau is the Matt Damon character, and Tony Leung is the DiCaprio character. So they basically set that up in the beginning of the movie, that like Tony Leung is he's used as an undercover cop, and he's been with the drug kingpin for like more than 10 years. And while Andy Lau has been with the police department feeding the drug kingpin information about what they're doing. So like I said, the end of the movie, DiCaprio dies in both movies, essentially. And with Infernal Affairs, Andy Lau, aka Matt Damon, gets away with it. But the thing is that Andy Lau during the movie wants to become a good guy. That's the thing, is that he's trying his best to get out of that life with the drug kingpin, and is like, I'm going to revert to be a good guy. The only problem is that Tony Leung, the DiCaprio character, finds out about him being a mole.
I can't with these fucking names, bro.
Tony and Andy. It's so simple.
Yeah, but Lau and Wow or some shit.
Lau and Leung.
Lau and Leung. Yeah, that's too similar.
Okay, I'll just go by Tony and Andy. All right.
That's so similar.
Tony is DiCaprio. Tony is DiCaprio. Andy is Damon. All right, got it. So basically, Tony DiCaprio and Andy Damon. Got it? Good. Uh, so, um, so yeah, basically, Andy wants to become a good guy, but Tony finds out that he's the mole, so he goes after him and is like, I know you're the fucking mole. And then the whole shit happens where Tony essentially dies, just like DiCaprio in The Departed. So because of that, and Andy's whole character is like, I'm still the bad guy. Like that's basically the where the Buddha quote comes in, is that like his eternal hell is that he can never change. He can never rewrite his past because he will always be the bad guy forever for the rest of his life.
So he believes very much in oh god, I can't think of her name. I'm the bad guy singer, Billie Eilish.
Oh my god, you were trying to make a joke.
I don't care anymore.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, so after that, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I saw that part of the Criterion Collection, there is an additional deleted scene. So I was going to say I didn't know, but no, that's a lie. I kind of knew that China has a law for some of their movies, especially crime movies, that the bad guys cannot get away, essentially.
What?
Yes. So during that time, there was a different version of Infernal Affairs where Andy's character gets arrested. So I'm like, oh, let me check this out. It is hilarious, especially watching the I would call the director's cut version, and with this alternate version, because it essentially just shows you the end of the movie, but Andy Lau's character comes out of the elevator, and when the original movie ends, it's just Andy Lau character comes out of the elevator. It has a little epilogue scene where it talks about him being like, I'm still the bad guy and all this shit. And then with the alternate version, the one that got released in China, it's basically him coming out of the elevator, and then a guy that you've known like in the last like couple minutes beforehand comes in. He is like, we know you're the mole, you're under arrest, and that's it. And then they handcuff him. I was laughing because I was like,
this is China, right?
Yes, this is a Chinese movie. So like I was saying, is that like it was really funny because it's just like there was an epilogue to this original cut, and then for the actual Chinese release, it was just like, walks out, you're under arrest, put your hands behind your back, and he puts his handcuffs, and that's it. That's the end of the movie. It's wild. But then that version makes no fucking sense for Infernal Affairs 3, because that is technically a sequel. But I'll get to that. Infernal Affairs 2, I feel like was not needed whatsoever. It is a prequel movie that talks about Tony Leung's character and Andrew Lau's character when they were like in their 20s, when they just got out of the police academy. So it kind of goes into their whole little backstory as well. And I felt like it was not needed because there is an issue. So you don't have Tony Leung and you don't have Andy Lau, excuse me. You don't have those actors themselves. You have a younger version, which are different actors playing them. And it just doesn't work. Because like, okay, to be fair, these actors are trying their best to actually make the movie somewhat decent, but the problem is that like this is a prequel movie, and anything that happens here, that if you meet any new characters, they're not going to show up. That's the problem with a lot of prequel shit, is that like you introduce new characters into prequel things, you know that they're not going to show up anywhere because they're dead or they're gone, like they're written out of the story. They can only exist in this one particular movie. So I felt like Infernal Affairs 2 was not needed. So then I watched Infernal Affairs 3. So Infernal Affairs 3 does a very interesting thing. So for Tony's character, they go 6 months before the whole incident in 1. And then for Andy's character, it is technically a sequel because it is years after what happened in 1. So it goes through this whole back and forth thing of like what's going on with Tony and what's going on with Andy. But it was really good at the start, but it really fumbles at its end because the ending felt so rushed. and this is why it kind of doesn't make sense in Infernal Affairs 1 with that Chinese version that got released, because in Infernal Affairs 3, Andy's character is essentially just on probation because of the whole shit that happened, that 2 cops shot each other. That was his story. And then, like I said, he got arrested in the first one, so that doesn't make any sense.
That sounds ultra confusing.
It was so fucking confused. Like I'm saying, is that like if anybody saw Infernal Affairs 3 and saw the Chinese version only of Infernal Affairs, they would be like, what the fuck is happening? But yeah, but if you just watch the actual release, the director's cut of it, you're fine. But like I said, the Infernal Affairs 3 has the 6 months before for Tony's character, where he is trying to take down a drug kingpin. Well, in Andy's side of the story, it's years later, and he's trying to hide the fact that he's still a mole, because there's a special investigator that's finding out that there's more moles that the drug kingpin put into the police department. So there's basically, it's like a manhunt, essentially.
Yeah, I like The Departed's like one-off.
Yeah,
that was good.
I think that's where I can say definitively The Departed and Infernal Affairs 1 works as its own movie. If Infernal Affairs 1 came out and that was it, that would have been fine. Like I said before, Infernal Affairs 3 was good because it brought back Tony Leung and Andy Lau as their characters, respectively.
Tony Leung, Andy Lau.
But I know Asian names are confusing, especially the names Andy and Tony.
Lung and Lao.
It's Lung, like the lung, and Lao, like Lao, like ow, owie.
My tiny brain can't contain the fucking information it's given, bro.
So Tony and Andy. Anyways, like it was good when it started, like, but once it got to like its halfway point, I was like, wow, what the fuck is happening? Like, there were so many things that like just felt really stupid. And then the end of the movie felt so rushed, but at the same time kept going. And I was like, what is happening? And it still relies on the whole Buddha quote. And I'm like, oh, excuse me. And I'm like, damn, like you had a one good movie and then just really meh sequels. And it's like, it's such an unfortunate thing. But as an overall watch, I still enjoyed my time. I have to say, because like I said, I think what I can say is that Tony Lau, excuse, now I got fucked up. So Tony Leung, I feel like is the Chinese equivalent to George Clooney. That's what so like you see his face and you're like, that's a pretty handsome motherfucker right there.
That's Andy Leung, yeah.
Tony Leung, yeah. Sure.
And Andy Lau.
Andy Lau, I'm trying to make the comparison. I would say he's kind of like the Brad Pitt a little bit. Like, he's also pretty handsome, but he can sing. Like, I didn't know about this. He's actually a singer and he's very talented.
Is he as good as our boy
Billie Eilish? No.
No. Or what's his name? Jackie Chan.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yep.
I would have to say maybe Andy Lau is a little bit better than Jackie Chan.
Chan man.
I mean, I like when Jackie Chan talks about high up on high. I want to reach up high up on high. I want to get up high up on high. High up on high. Anyways, so yeah, Infernal Affairs I watched. I also watched a couple other things I just want to run by. I watched this movie called Hanabi, which is Japanese for fireworks. It is directed by Takeshi Kitano, who is this very, very well-known Japanese director. He was in the movie Battle Royale, the Japanese version of that movie. I think it's only Japanese, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
And his directing style is very interesting. I think what I saw is that you can describe some of his works as a self-destructive character movie most of the times.
Okay.
Hanabi's story is very good. It's kind of depressing, especially that ending. I think it's on Freevee on Amazon.
I was actually about to ask, like, are any of these like on
Yeah,
the streaming services?
Hanabi is on Freevee on Amazon, so I would really recommend that.
I'll
But
check it out.
the main fucking thing of that movie that I love so much is the soundtrack. That music in that movie is so good. So good. Yeah, I really recommend it. Hanabi. Takeshi Kitano, I really don't want to see more of his movies because like one of the movies I saw was called Outrage, which is a Yakuza movie. But he knows really how to work with like silence or just like not talking. Because like you kind of get that from his character in that movie is just like he's just tired and just sick of all the bullshit that he has to go through. Yeah, very good movie, Hanabi. So that's a Chonch recommendation. And then I saw a movie called Margin Call with fucking Zachary Quinto, Stanley Tucci, Kevin Spacey, and this is a movie about the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh,
I was still kind of like I don't know what they're talking about because it's all economic shit, but it's basically.
How was it?
I enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed it, even though like I kind of don't know anything about economics. It's set in a fictional banking investment, and basically Zachary Quinto's character talks about how like there's something weird that's going on about like the numbers for their banking investments, and that like stocks are going to plummet, and they got to do something about that. Like it's essentially like code red for them, and they got to like figure this shit out.
You said 2008, right?
Yes, and this was like during the start of the financial crisis. So like kind of the end of it is just like, oh, we were all on our Wii's enjoying our Wii's. Yeah, that was a good movie. It's on Netflix still, I think currently.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out because that one does sound good.
So I know we talked about this last podcast about good World War I movies. I finally watched a movie called All Quiet on the Western Front.
Okay.
Which is the perspective of the Germans / Austrians during World War I.
Don't get into it too much because I do want to watch that.
So it is a remake of a very, I wouldn't say very old. It was, I think it's like 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
But I really, really liked that movie. I really liked it.
Yep.
So I give that a recommendation as well.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
We actually talked about this last week, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I just
think I want to watch it, and I just didn't get around to it.
I think I need to make a correction about that because I think I called it a World War II movie. It's a World War I movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very, very good. I really enjoy it.
Germans are still there.
It is a super anti-war movie, like to the nth degree.
Okay.
Yeah, it is super anti-war. Like it does not glorify it at all. Which is hilarious because like I was seeing a bunch of like weird like right wing like articles about how like it's a bad movie because it does not glorify war. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, nobody wants to kill each other anymore.
Nobody wants to be men anymore and just go out and kill another dude. And it's just like, fuck is happening? So yeah, that's the shit I watched.
Man, have stick.
So I recommend for Chonch's watch, I recommend Hanabi, Margin Call, Infernal Affairs, specifically the first movie, and All Quiet on the Western Front. All good movies.
Honestly, these all actually sound pretty good.
Yeah, Hanabi is like one of the hits that I was not expecting because I was like, where does this movie go? Because like I know some of Takeshi Kitano's works, but Hanabi was such a big surprise, especially the music. Because I was talking to a friend of mine that recommended it to me. He was like, he's like, you gotta check this movie out. He's like, it's really fucking good. And then I got back to him and I was like, that movie was amazing and that soundtrack was so good. And he's like, I know, right? And like, I tried to explain to him like why that music was so good, and he's like, it's just melancholy. That's all it is. It's just down, but there's somewhat beauty to it. And I'm like, oh man, like that is perfect, and that is a perfect encapsulation of that movie. It is so good. Yeah, Hanabi. I was going to say we should have a party, a watch party. Yeah, I'll fucking watch that movie again. I don't give a fuck.
Of
Uh,
Hanabi?
yeah, Hanabi. Yeah.
What?
On
How did you watch it?
uh Amazon Prime. It's on Freevee,
Oh,
so there
yeah,
is
for sure. We
commercials.
could do that.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically. Oh, another thing of my week, as you can kind of or somewhat tell, I'm using my laptop currently. Uh, I got new computer parts. Yay! Black Friday came through.
Hell yeah, dude.
uh,
Honestly, super excited because you got good deals.
I got really good deals. Especially on Newegg, which is fucking insane. So I got everything. I got a new motherboard. I got a new processor. I got new RAM. Of course, I got a new graphics card, but this was like weeks ago because I found a good price for a 3090, especially at this time. A 3090 Ti, I should say, especially during now. I'm all set to go. Only problem, I don't have a cooler, and I purchased a cooler on Amazon, and it is an AIO cooler, which is one of those like radiator coolers.
Yeah.
It's not coming in until possibly tomorrow or of the week until the 6th of December. So I'm just here. You can kind of see on my side, on my right side, my computer's just laying down because I'm just waiting for the cooler to come in so I could just install it and plug my shit
is
in.
That why you're on the laptop?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
I'm
why
very confused.
That's why I had to tell you, like, oh, I got to get all the plugins and all my shit because, like,
When you were having issues with the thing, I was like, why don't you just plug? Like in my head, of course, I'm like, why don't you just plug it in your computer? Now I understand.
Yeah, because when we do our podcast, I use my main computer, but I'm using my laptop right now because it's like, but there was this whole fucking struggle that we couldn't get this podcast started because like my laptop ran really fucking bad. I think I might have installed something that fucked it up. No, you know what it was? I had antivirus software in this fucking bitch and I stopped using it, and that shit ended up eating a lot of shit from my computer. So usually a lot of people recommend not to install anti-virus software because it is not good for your computer because that shit uses up a lot of background processing.
Yeah, I mean it's all dependent. But
so that shit, like, it was running way fucking worse on my computer.
Did you just order the cooler recently, or
I ordered it like before I got the parts. Like, this was the hilarious thing is that like I thought the cooler was gonna come in earlier than what I got on Newegg because on Newegg that's where I got the motherboard, the processor, and the RAM.
Uh-huh.
And then Newegg sent me a message being like, oh, because I ordered it on Thursday, and Newegg was like, come in Saturday. I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, I just gotta wait for my cooler. And then I get a message about my cooler coming December 1st or the 6th. Or the week in between. I'm like, fuck.
I also ran out of them or something.
No, I think the seller is like in Nevada. So like it's a little bit
shouldn't take that long.
I know, but like, yeah, like I'm saying is that like I'm just waiting because like I tried turning this thing on and it turns on. The only thing is that like AMD processors have this failsafe where if they run too hot, they shut off.
Yeah.
So this processor is known to run hot because obviously it needs to process because it is a very good processor, but it needs to process and it needs that cooler as most processors do. And as all processors do. So I got this thing to turn on and I'm like, okay, let me go into the BIOS and the thing shuts off. So I'm like, like I need the fucking cooler. So I opened the thing and I'm like,
no, you turned it on without
a cooler.
Did you have any heatsink on it?
No. It's fine. It still turns on.
No, just don't do that.
No, but that's what I said. I only did it once. like I say, AMD has the failsafe. Like that is the whole purpose of it shutting off is because it's like it's running too hot, can't do it, turning it off. That's it. That's its failsafe mechanism. So I open this thing up and I'm like, the processor can't be that hot. I put my finger down and I'm like, oh fuck, it's hot. And I look back at the processor and I just see a finger imprint on it because it was that hot. But I just wiped off the finger imprint. So yeah, right now I'm just waiting for the cooler. I have this thing completely disconnected, so nothing short circuits or anything happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that was another thing that happened is that I let you know that I think on Monday, or Sunday, the power went out in my house. So that shit happened. So yeah, got new computer parts. Very excited until the processor gets here. Not the processor, the fucking cooler. When the cooler gets here, I will be so happy. Since tomorrow's the 1st, I'm keeping my fingers crossed it comes in tomorrow. Yeah. Very excited. Very cool computer parts. So yeah, that was basically my week. So, I know you got stuff to do, so you want to run through these stories?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
You start us off because I don't know which one we're starting with.
Okay, that's no problem. I think the first thing we can talk about. Hold on. Okay, hold on. All right. So last week we talked. Well, not last week. Jesus, we've been gone for like 2 weeks. Also, how was your Thanksgiving? That was another thing.
It was fine.
Okay, that's good. I had a good Thanksgiving as well. I made broccoli casserole, but I did not make enough because we had 20 people.
Was that the thing you made last time?
Yes.
Oh god, that thing sounds so good.
I mean, everybody liked it. I made
I just
it.
love broccoli and cheese and shit, man. Like,
I mean, it's broccoli, cheese, and some crummies on top.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody liked it, but I thought we had enough broccoli, but we did not have enough because obviously the broccoli shrinks when it's cooked, so we didn't have enough. Because it was a joint venture between me and my mom, because like I basically cooked the broccoli and baked it, and my mom just had to like look over and see if like the shit was fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, so 2 weeks we've been out.
Was like,
yeah, she was like, broccoli okay. So yeah, 2 weeks we've been gone. So this was a thing that we talked about last episode, is that Bethesda has come out with a statement talking about the whole Mick Gordon thing. So on Bethesda's Twitter, basically this is what they posted down. They posted down the recent post by Mick Gordon both mischaracterized and misrepresented the team at id Software, the development of Doom Eternal, Marty Stratton, and Chas Mossolder with a one-sided and unjust account of an irreparable professional relationship. We are aware of all the details and history in this matter and unequivocally support Marty, Chad, and the team at id Software. We reject the distortion of the truth and selective presentation of incomplete, quote-unquote, facts. We stand ready with full and complete documented evidence to disclose in an appropriate venue as needed. The statements posted online have incited harassment and threats of violence against Marty, Chad, and id Software team. Any threats or harassment directed towards members of our teams will be met with swift and appropriate action to protect their health and safety. We remain incredibly proud of id's previous collaborations with Mick Gordon and ask that fans refrain from reaching conclusions based on his account and, more importantly, from attacking any of the individuals mentioned on either side, including Marty, Chad, or Mick. So did Marty write this?
Yeah.
Dude, it is wild at the fact that this statement is just like, what Mick said? Lies. Mick said. We have our evidence, but we're not going to reveal it, because if we got to go to court, we reveal it in court. And then Mick's just on the other side like, okay. Like,
see you in court.
I guess I'll see you in court, maybe. I don't know. I don't think he wants to go to court. He's just like, I just want the truth to be out there, my experience. But if you're going to call me a liar, then fuck it. Like, call me a liar. I don't care anymore. He's like, I
mean, to protect his own, like, professionalism, it's worth him saying something about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, the dude does good work, so.
Yeah, and it was
want to be known as a guy that fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. Because he explained in his whole thing that, like, people were calling like companies that he was like doing contracting work at and being like, don't hire him, or harassing the people that he was working with and saying that like, oh, he made a bad soundtrack. And it was just, it was weird. But then you have this whole situation where Bethesda comes out with a statement being like, oh, it is ridiculous at the fact that like he comes out with his quote unquote facts. And then you have the other shit, what Marty did, where he went on Reddit and talked about his quote unquote facts. And it was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it is such a like disgusting thing to do, to call someone a liar when you had another person do the exact same thing, but it present no evidence. So, I at this point, I think we can say if it goes to court, it goes to court. But I don't think Mick wants to do anything court related, especially with that shit.
No, and I don't know, man. It's just a silly ass like thing, especially if it's all like this guy like launching this shit, because like it's way easier to just say you fucked up, dude, than to sit here and like rip a guy down that the community probably loves more than you know?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to think about, that the composer's more loved than the actual game itself. When like Doom Eternal is not bad, like it is a very good game.
It's all like, when you act like an asshole, people are gonna treat you like an asshole. You know?
Exactly, and that's the thing, is that like Mick Gordon, from what I understand, is that like a lot of companies like working with him.
Yeah,
like they legitimately work with him, but id Software is known to be vicious. Like over the years, id Software has known to be incredibly vicious. But not only them, Bethesda as well. Because there's this whole story about like Bethesda and Obsidian. Do you remember that? When Obsidian worked on Fallout New Vegas. So the reason why Fallout New Vegas kind of feels like unfinished is because Bethesda had, oh no, not Bethesda, ZeniMax at the time was the head of Bethesda, and they had their own little hand at like the whole like shit that was going on with New Vegas. So there's a video basically explaining, like there's a bunch of like video essays talking about that whole relationship.
It's sad because New Vegas was so good.
New Vegas is very good, and there was a whole, I think we talked about this, as like there was a quote from somebody over at Obsidian talking about like would there ever be another New Vegas like game, or would you ever work with Bethesda again? And it's like, at this point, probably with the merger, yeah, maybe, if Bethesda ever wants to reach out to us. And you know, now that Microsoft is going to be, well, Microsoft is the head of Bethesda,
400 game companies,
yeah, and they're like, yeah, this shit's gonna make us money because people know how good they work. So yeah, who knows? Oh no, and Microsoft also owns Obsidian, so it's like there's that. So they can do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, it's just,
oh sorry.
No, it's just like, yeah, if I want to see like that kind of fuckery that happens with ZeniMax, because like I said, ZeniMax was very toxic. There's like a bunch of video essays that you can find about people talking about that specific shit with Obsidian.
Yeah, who was the other one that you said was toxic? Oh, the
id. That's what id. Yeah, anything that was under the branch of ZeniMax was pretty toxic.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like video game companies can be a toxic, exploitative workplace. Who knew?
Fucking disappointing.
Yep. But speaking of disappointing, what do you think about Twitter 2.0, baby? Do you like that daddy Elon Musk has taken over Twitter?
Is this this is one of the ones. Whoops.
Yeah, so basically we have this article talking about how there's basically an exodus of Twitter employees being like, we don't want to be part of Musk's Twitter quote unquote 2.0.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Elon is like a terrible person by any means, but like I think he's going kind of weird with the Twitter thing. I don't know why he wanted to be such a big part of this. I mean, he like talks about freedom of speech a lot.
Yeah, but what's hilarious is that like he has a line where freedom of speech can only go so far. Like he's also talking about how like freedom of speech doesn't really mean people could talk about certain things. It's very bizarre. Like his whole
So
standpoint is not.
did you see what he did? I don't know. Have you seen any of the tweet things that he's been doing or not?
Oh my god, there was one thing I saw, but I don't remember. But if you want to talk about one, then go ahead.
So the specific one I want to talk about is he unblocked Trump,
Yes.
Tate, and somebody else. Which like I don't give a fuck. Yeah, whatever. Do all
Yeah.
that. I don't interact with those things. And if I do, like it's not like directly. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't unblock I don't know, someone I can't remember the exact thing, but someone like I don't want to say this, but I think somebody killed a child by accident or something or on purpose or whatever, right? Um and somebody was like, "Why won't you unblock this guy? Like freedom of speech, blah blah, quote, quoting him." And he was like, "My child died when I was like when my he had a kid die on him, like his own kid."
Mhm.
And he's like, "That's why." And then they were like, "Well, you're letting personal shit get in the way then." And I was like, "That's fair. That's personal shit getting in the way."
Yeah.
Look,
He also put out a tweet that is like he was like telling people to vote conservative, which is also a weird one.
right. So
Yeah.
like, freedom of speech, I don't really give a fuck. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't think you should be like tossing racial slurs or hate speech or anger, like that type of stuff. Like it's a social media platform, right? At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's not really an open space to be completely open. It's more of like a controlled area. And that's what everything on the internet is. It's controlled by whoever the fuck makes it because they made it and they make the rules.
Yeah.
You know, so like freedom of speech only goes so far on like certain platforms.
I mean, we've talked about this, is that social media, like some people don't really know any way of self-control because they view social media as a like a void they can yell into
Yeah.
at some points. But that's also the problem, is that like it's not a void because people will see this shit and be like, "What are you talking about?" Like you kind of have that whole thing in social media where like people just have different views, and you using social media as like a void to yell in doesn't work that way, because there will be people be like, what is this person talking about? Why does this person have these specific views? What is going on? Like it like that's what I'm saying, is that like social media, there's only like a couple people that have some self-control, but most of the time social media is just like no one has self-control. Everybody gotta work for them likes.
I mean,
And,
like it's like I go and read things on Twitter and like I'll read it and then go, fuck this guy. But I don't go out of my way and go actually say like fuck you.
yeah,
But then I have like friends who will actually go out of their way and say
say
fuck
fuck
you
you.
to 17 different people in that fucking post. And I'm like, you're not really like, you might be making yourself feel good until they right back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Exactly.
it's like it's
I
so
do
much easier to just like walk away from these
I
things.
I can't really think of a moment where I said fuck you to someone, but I've basically written down on like my own Twitter post of being like, oh, if I'm upset of one specific thing. I remember I was putting on Twitter about the whole thing about Helena Taylor, about like, oh, at the beginning I was like, oh, this is
Right.
really
Yeah.
shitty, and then obviously the whole news of that came out, and I'm like, oh, she's not great.
Yeah.
Like
That's another thing, right? Like
yeah,
sometimes you don't have the full story.
yeah. So but then, I heard about Bayonetta and its whole Bayonetta 3 specifically, and its like story, and it's like it's not a good story, but the gameplay's fun. I'm like, I'll get it eventually. I'm like, I don't have to really play it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole thing with Daddy Elon is basically an exodus of Twitter employees leaving, and then there was a whole thing about the building Twitter basically being closed because Musk sent an email saying that he was worried that people might try to vandalize Twitter.
I
So
swear I told you this last time. Or maybe I talked to somebody else about it, but he fired the people that do the badges, so you can swipe in and out of the building, and then the system went down, and he had nobody to help him like get in, so he had to actually call them and ask them to come help him,
Oh, I
and they
didn't
were
know about
like,
that.
all right.
It's so stupid. It's so, but this is the
He's
issue.
also
Is
lucky that these people were like, okay.
but this is so stupid because it's like Elon Musk is essentially a Twitter troll with a lot. He's a rich Twitter troll, and
He's
he's
a Twitter troll who owns Twitter now.
Twitter exactly. And it's just like, why do you think a lot of people are like, oh, this shit's gonna fucking sink? And it's like, yeah, and it's kind of doing that already. But Twitter was already bad enough beforehand, but now you left it in the hands of a fucking Twitter troll, and it's like, yeah, this shit's still probably gonna be up. He's gonna try to make it like at least work because he bought it, so he's gonna try to.
He's already been quoted as saying like, Twitter usage up. Hold on, Twitter usage up and like racism down on Twitter, right?
Racism
Maybe that's
down.
true. I've seen a lot of racism on Twitter.
Yeah,
Which like
racism's still there.
It's kind of like normal. I'm so used to seeing it pretty constantly because it's just like a part of Twitter.
Yeah,
it's not something I like to interact with. It's something I end up seeing, and then if I see it, I tend to like block whatever. Cause I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this, right?
yeah.
But this is like, I want to kind of say this carefully because like I don't think he's this exaggerated or this like bad of a person. But he reminds me a lot of like Trump when he's doing these types of things. Because he will throw around numbers that like I have no idea if this is true. But I know like a lot of things Trump's Jesus Christ. I know a lot of like numbers and stuff that Trump would throw around is false, and then he would just lie about shit.
Yeah.
Openly, blatantly just go, the sky's red. And you're like, all right, dude, whatever. So like Elon's kind of getting on that like level of like it's just annoying and like I don't know. I mean, again, I think when Blue Sky comes out, we'll see if that's good.
I'll go on Mastodon. I'll see you there. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Like I was like, I don't really have a huge following on Twitter. It's mostly sex bots at this point, which is wild to think about.
Hey man, gotta start somewhere, bro.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I should do a thing once I hit 200. Like, yeah, and then I just look at the followers that I have, and it's just all sex bots. And I'm like,
or like, do you want larger penis?
Do you want
like?
Do you want to bang and then get larger penis, or do you want larger penis and then we bang? And
then $500 to
visit
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, and then I'm one of the 8.9% on OnlyFans top rating, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my god, the amount of like people that like have top point whatever percentage of OnlyFans in their bio is fucking insane.
Yeah, it is wild. I'm like,
Which,
you all can't be in the top.
Get your fucking money though, bro. Like, get your fucking money though.
Yeah, sex bot. I don't. I'm a skeptic. I'm like, you're not gonna be in the top. What are you thinking, sex bot? Get out of here. Oh, sex bot. It's like the Nosferatu thing from SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Twitter probably gonna go down the shitter, but you know, I'll probably like to be around that trash fire, maybe. A little bit.
So the opposite of bad and something good, in my opinion, would be, did you know that Gearbox has acquired Risk of Rain?
Oh. What are your thoughts? Because you played more Risk of Rain than I have.
Fucking love Risk of Rain. And holy shit, I'm so glad they got it. Because that will lead to a larger development team, I would assume. So I don't know. I love Risk of Rain. I think there needs to be a third one because like the second one's kind of like just lingering there, and like they do updates, you know. But
yeah. So this is the interesting thing is that like Risk of Rain is owned by Gearbox. It's going to be worked on Gearbox for the remainder of its life cycle. But if they were to do anything for Risk of Rain, the old development team has nothing to do with it.
Right.
So.
Oh. Okay. So they bought the IP, not the company.
Yes, they bought the IP. Yeah. So I don't know if you want like Risk of Rain guy to be like Gangnam style, because you know the writing team at like Gearbox for some reason makes references that are way too fucking old. Anyways.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Gangnam
I didn't think
style.
about. We'll see. Hopefully they do good.
Hopefully. Just keep Risk of Rain 3 in the USB with all of the magician porn. Sorry. It's okay.
Oh, sorry. I was rereading this just to make sure that they didn't take
The studio?
Hopo games. Is it Hopo?
Yeah.
Hopo?
Hopo.
Hopoo.
Hupo. Yeah, no, it's the IP.
You made me a little sad, man. I hope they don't do anything fucked up to it, bro.
They're gonna make Risk of Rain guy talk, and he's gonna talk and make references from like 2010. What do you not get, bro?
Alright. Let's go for more sad news then.
Alright, we want something else from Gearbox? Fucking
Wait,
Volition.
is there another one?
Volition is now part of
yeah.
Gearbox.
Yeah.
Because Saints Row did not sell well, so PlayOn, also known as Koch Media, or was formerly known as Koch Media, or Embracer Group, was like, all right, Saints Row didn't do well. Volition, go over to Gearbox. Gearbox, take care of this shit. So if you want more out-of-date references and bad dialogue, there you go. Congrats, Saints Row 2 in 2083. We'll talk about furries. I don't know. Some shit.
Okay.
So yeah, Volition is now part of Gearbox because Embracer was like, it didn't meet our financial quota. Why? And it's like, why do you think? Because it was a buggy ass mess. The dialogue was not good. People were like, this is not Saints Row, especially big Saints Row fans. And what can you do? What can you do? I mean, I'm not a big Saints Row fan, but
yeah,
just seeing how the game was incredibly buggy, I was like, ooh, that's not good. Ooh, big ooh. You know what else is big ooh?
No.
Blizzard is now suspending game sales in China. So there has been a fallout with NetEase and Blizzard. So there is some stuff that Blizzard was working on that will not be heading over to China. I believe it is World of Warcraft, Dragonflight, Hearthstone, March of the Lich King, and Warcraft, Dragonflight, Hearthstone, March of the Lich King, and Season 2 of Overwatch 2. It's still going on for the rest of this year and won't be affected. But anything else that's new will not be heading over to China.
Yeah, it's weird that...
Sorry. So they will be ending operations for Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and Diablo 3. But they will not stop Diablo Immortal because Diablo Immortal. But the reasoning as to this is very vague. What was the quote from Mike Ybarra? Mark Ybarra is the president of Blizzard development. Misalignment in principles and approach is what Blizzard says as to why there is fallout with NetEase. Very vague. Don't know what that means, but
I wonder if it, one, has anything to do with what's going on in China, or two, the acquisition by Microsoft.
It could be a couple things. Who knows?
Right.
We don't really have the full story on that, but yeah, NetEase and Tencent are both the big players in China when acquiring shit. So
yeah.
But the crazy thing is that like this is a big hit for Activision for its financials because China is one of the biggest countries for a lot of their profit. So I think there was a quote that said that like what is it? 264 million? Yeah, 3% of Blizzard's net revenues comes from the NetEase contract.
Blizzard.
Yeah. So, yeah, big hit for them. Yeah, 3%. But still pretty big hit because, like I said, China is like one of their biggest places to sell. And even isn't Immortal what was it? Isn't Immortal, it was made by a Chinese studio, was it not?
Like Tencent, right?
Or NetEase.
Might have been NetEase.
Yeah, I think it was.
But that's why they have a different deal with the game.
Yeah, I think it was a studio that NetEase owns, so that's why. But yeah, either way, there's some stuff that's being taken out and some stuff that is being left alone for like the rest of the time being. But yeah, we just don't have the full deal on this.
The Diablo Immortal will stay there for however long they want it to be there, because, like you said, it was with a different company.
Yeah. So, let me ask you this question. Do you, shit, I don't know how to segue into this. I hope you gotta go fast. You know who else should have went fast?
The guy at Square Enix?
Yuji Naka.
Yes.
Yuji Naka should have gone fast, away from the cops. Sorry. It's so stupid. So this shit is fucking wild. So Yuji Naka has been arrested for insider trading for a Dragon Quest gacha game in Japan. Before his departure from Square Enix after Balan Wonderworld, he knew about a Dragon Quest game that was going to be released for mobile called Dragon Quest Tact. So him and I think two other workers before they left purchased some shares for Aiming. Aiming is the development company that's working on Dragon Quest Tact. And basically those two guys got caught, and now Yuji Naka got caught because the two other employees put down 47 million yen, all in conversion that's $336,300 US, and then Yuji Naka put down 2.8 million yen, which is $20,000 in USD.
What's USD?
USD is United States.
USD is nuts in your mouth. Ah, got him.
You know who else got him? The police.
Yuji Naka?
The police got him.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, Yuji Naka really had been got.
He should have.
The fucking, what was that? Was that like Rockstar fingers or peace signs?
What?
What did you just do? You were like, yeah.
Oh no, I was doing running motion because
Okay.
Sonic.
Jesus Christ.
He should have went to Balan Wonderworld and got out of there fast.
Well, I'm gonna turn my computer off now that I heard Balan Wonderworld.
He's the director.
We talked. He should have been jailed a long time ago.
Exactly. But we talked about him, about the whole shit at Square Enix.
There's a picture of Balan in here. Oh my.
Dude, the picture of Yuji Naka is with him with the fucking hat from Balan.
Oh shit! Oh, it's got the art design.
Yes.
I wasn't paying attention at all.
So Yuji Naka is behind the original Sonic. He was the programmer at Balan Wonderworld and Nights into Dream.
Wow, how old is this guy?
He's been at Sega for like a good while, especially around the Genesis era.
He looks young, but I guess he's like 90 apparently.
Well, you think being at that age, he should live and learn.
Yeah.
Live and learn. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It just went over your head. It's okay.
Yeah. I head too. It's hard to do that.
I know. Sorry. So yeah, no. So we had a whole story about him as well, about his whole his whole ordeal over at Square Enix, where he talked about that he was taken off the project for Bound Wonderworld 6 months before release. So there was that where he talked about going to court with Square Enix. But yeah, this kind of the whole ordeal with him being arrested for insider trading is just like is really funny. I don't know why. Something about that is just really funny that the guy that made Balan Wonderworld is going to jail.
Weird. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? But it's very, very weird. Yuji Naka is one of those creators that like a lot of people that knew him didn't really get along with him because he was very, very like hard to work with. And I think that was also the other case, was the reason why he got taken off the project from Balan Wonderworld over at Square Enix was because he was hard to work with. So yeah, jail time. Gotta go fast. Anyways, moving on from that. You know what should not go fast, or what people should live and learn from?
Yes, I know exactly what it is.
What is it, bro?
Fucking NFTs, Jesus Christ.
You would think people would live and learn, but they don't.
I don't want it.
So it's confirmed that PlayStation has been working on NFTs and blockchain technologies, and has a patent for it. So we had a whole talk about PlayStation Stars, about them with their whole digital trophy shit. And it was hilarious that Sony had to make a quote basically saying that these are not NFTs. And now we're having this whole thing where Sony's like, we're working on NFTs. And
well, maybe they're NFTs.
Maybe. Who knows? But NFTs though? But it's wild at the fact that, like, you know, we're living in the year where crypto shit is plummeting really badly. I don't know. I really don't. Have you collected any of those trophies from PlayStation Stars?
Accidentally.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I collected a couple because I'm like, oh, these are just dumb. I got a Secret Agent Clank one.
Nice.
Like, yeah. That's
I
all.
mean,
That's all we have to say is nice.
So it's not a horrible idea. I don't know if you remember PlayStation Home.
Yeah.
So in PlayStation Home.
No, hold up. You mean precursor Metaverse?
Yeah, I gotta say, man, PlayStation Home was dope.
I remember I actually like really wanted to spend more time in PlayStation Home, but then I just never went. You know, there's a on the PlayStation 3 emulator, somebody actually got PlayStation Home to work on that. So now there's
That's cool.
there's an open version of PlayStation Home. It's wild.
Cool.
Yeah, so people can go live their PlayStation Home life. If you really want to do that.
There was ways for you to like showcase trophies in there though. As far as I remember, maybe I'm wrong, but
I think there was, yeah.
That's kind of like what this reminds me of. Like, I don't mind a way for me to showcase my achievements in a more cool way.
Yeah.
But I really actually think, and probably not because I don't think a lot of people would enjoy this, but bring PlayStation Home back. Because honestly, man, like, not that bad. Unless it like took a huge development team or something, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sony saw this as an opportunity to be like, oh, if Metaverse is failing, sure, let's bring back PlayStation Home and see if that shit works, because a weird amount of people have asked for it. I don't know.
Metaverse is
Facebook.
Yeah, I think it has too high of a price for an entry.
Metaverse is weird. I forget as to why it's failing. I think it's just because I think it just is because not many people are using it. I think that's just its overall thing.
Yeah, to be fair, like, they probably should have pointed it at gamers more.
I don't know. Come on, Mark Zuck, make it better.
I mean, to be real, like,
because I think you could.
That's who probably would want to pick your shit up anyways. Video game players.
But I think there is like a you can use like an Oculus on Metaverse, so you're walking around the Metaverse.
Oh, maybe the entry fee isn't that bad then. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it. I've never really looked into it, to be fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Uh,
like the videos I've seen, nothing has ever made me go, I want to do that thing.
yeah, same here. Like, I don't know, just virtual shit like that never really interests me, with the exception of PlayStation Home, because PlayStation Home, when I got a PS3, was like, oh, cool, I guess. But then obviously that never went anywhere. It just kind of died. Um, yeah, I don't know. PlayStation, bring back PlayStation Home, sure. But this whole thing with NFTs is, I don't know. A spokesperson for Sony basically gave the whole spiel again as to like, oh, NFTs has a place in video games as well. It's like the equivalent of like owning a piece of memorabilia for like a sports team, or like, I don't know, something that you like, but in a digital platform. The whole NFT spiel. Um, so I don't know if we just got a way a ways to go to see whether or not Sony will actually implement this. But yeah, NFTs.
I'm just so excited. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
None of the. It sounds really fucking boring. I don't know
Wow.
why they want to get into it so bad. Uh, Obviously it's all about money.
Yeah.
Which like that's fair. You're a company. I I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see personal interest in this. I don't know many people in my groups that would have personal interest in this as well.
Yeah. Unless they gave us like, I don't know, like a Crash Bandicoot NFT.
No,
Maybe.
no. I will only have my 100 Thieves NFC for the rest of my life and nothing else.
Okay. How's that
And
doing, by the way?
I don't know. I don't even know where it is. I'd have to go find the vault it is in.
Have fun with that. But you know
Thanks,
what's,
man.
yeah, you know what's non-fungible but could be fungible in a way? Grammys. So the Grammy Awards has revealed nominees for video game soundtrack. This was announced for the 65th annual Grammy Awards that will be held next year in February. The nominees are you ready for this? The nominees are
Dragon
Aliens,
Ball Z.
Fire Team, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Dawn of Ragnarok, Call of Duty Vanguard, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I actually agree with that one, and Old World.
Oh, you missed one.
Which one?
Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Go. Sorry, excuse me, that's not actually part of it. But yeah, they nominated some games for the Grammys, but I mean, sure,
I
I
would not give
guess.
a all of that. Honestly, Guardians of the Galaxy would get it for me.
The original soundtrack is actually pretty good by the actual band Star-Lord that's used in the game when you kind of want to don't use the copyrighted songs. Like that's the alternative thing. But that's actually pretty good. Um yeah, it's just like I didn't know that Bear McCreary is the composer for Call of Duty Vanguard. He's the composer for God of War. God of War
Wow,
Ragnarok.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So sure, I guess. But it's weird because like these games, when did Vanguard come out?
Fucking. Oh wait, it was like a year ago. Why am I laughing?
Did it
Vanguard was last year.
really?
Yep. Call of Duty every year, dude.
Yeah, you're right. 2021. Wow.
I know I'm right.
Yeah, so these are all games that came out last year. But I mean I know nothing about the OST for the rest of the other games, so
Wait, did Vanguard come out last year?
yeah,
Alright, Jesus
2021.
Christ. I'm sorry.
Mar
Assassin's Creed.
Valhalla?
Yeah.
Well, Valhalla Dawn of Ragnarok. That's the expansion thing.
Oh, okay.
That did
I'm
come
confused
out.
about that.
Yeah. Wow. You hate the assassins? You hate it when the
I hate
assassins.
assassins.
You hate it when the assassins gotta assassinate
When they gotta
Odin.
assassinate, bro. It's my complete
Wow.
hate. It's pure hatred for the assassins.
So it's I guess those are nominations, but I don't know. It's a very weird thing to be, I guess, somewhat excited for. Award shows, like I said, we've talked about this. Is just like award shows don't really care about them. You know, maybe the artist cares for them more, but But I mean, to have video game soundtracks at the Grammys, I guess, is kind of a win for video games because it's actually viewed as proper music. But overall, my perspective, I don't really care for award shows. And we got the fucking Game Awards coming out, I think, next month. So there's that. But I only get excited for the Game Awards for the announcements, and that's it. Yeah.
Sorry.
What will be your GOTY for the Game Awards this year? Sekiro, Last of Us 2. Already? Yes. I think the nominations were like God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Sifu.
Honestly, man, nobody would like this. Sifu probably.
Wow, as GOTY. It will never go down in price, just like Sekiro.
It would either be Sifu or God of War.
Most likely God of War, because I feel like that's the one that most people played.
I think so.
If it's Elden Ring, I will be surprised. I would be really surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If I don't think it's gonna be Horizon though.
I think
honestly,
more people, the general public, like God of War more.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be Horizon because I think Elden Ring was like around the same time as Forbidden West as Horizon, so I think Elden Ring got more light. But even then, like, we even a couple Game Awards ago, it was Sekiro that won. So even then, it was the fucking Sekiro.
Oh man. Cursed. This is a Christian podcast.
But yeah, Sekiro won one of the Game Awards, and it's just like that was the wild aspect, is that like that game is pretty tough, and it's like that one game of the year. And it's like, okay. A From Software game.
What, Sekiro?
Yeah. It won game of the year for
such
whatever.
A cool game, to be fair.
It is really good. I mean, I got all of the trophies. So fun time I had. But the thing that annoyed me the most was that like Sekiro would not go down in price at all digitally. It was like stuck at like fucking like what, like $30 for like 8
that was like 50 the whole time.
Huh? Yeah. Well, like now technically, but like during like sales and shit like that, it was like fucking like on sale for like $25 or $30, and it's just like, this game's been out for like years. Go lower. What are you doing? No, but like one of the wild things that I saw that like a lot of people in the fighting game community was complaining about for the Game Awards was the nominees for fighting games. So the nominees were Multiverses, DNF Duel, The King of Fighters 15, and Sifu.
But if you're talking traditional fighters, it's obviously not, right?
It's not a fighter. So that's the weird thing, is that everybody was like, it's like Sifu is a beat 'em up. It's a roguelite beat 'em up.
Right. So like in the eyes of like people that don't know video games.
Yeah,
right?
a pleb.
They're like, oh my god, you punch with your fists?
Yeah, because
you're definitely Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like you're technically doing fighting, but it's like, really? I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't think that many fighting games came out this year either, but still, I'm like, come on.
Like, just throw it in there, man.
He does martial arts.
They're like Ratchet and Clank. All right, that's one.
God of Stray. Stray is a fighting game.
God of War, yeah. I still haven't beaten Stray, man.
I forgot I ordered a copy of Stray physically from 8-bit, and it's coming.
That's the one you never got?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that. Yeah, and the thing is like I would cancel it, but I don't remember what email I used for this. Or I don't think I used an email, so I just paid for it through PayPal, and that was it. So it's coming eventually. I will play Stray eventually. I will play my cat game. All right, so that is it for the podcast. We've gone through everything that we missed 2 weeks ago. Successful podcast. So Chunch recommends movies. Haler recommends movies.
Let me know when you have time for that.
For Hanabi?
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow, if you want. Okay.
Yeah. You should pop it in the Discord and see.
Yeah, I'll pop it in because, like, obviously I'm still waiting because I can't really stream anything as of the moment because.
Yeah. Also, let me know when you get that in.
The cooler?
Yep.
I'll send you a picture of what my current shit looks like. But
yeah.
All right. So with that said, thanks for coming back, Howler. It was nice catching up.
Good.
And I know you got stuff to do. So bye-bye.